Welcome to my EDT 6020 Schoology course. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what my course looks like and what is expected of my students. So we're going to go ahead and click the button that says Getting Started. When we click Getting Started, what pops up first is teacher information. So if we give that a click, it'll go ahead and pop up with information about myself. So it says Erica Springer, and then here's my contact information below with a picture. If we go back to the folder that says Getting Started, we can also find a learning map for the unit that will be taught. This map includes our key learning, essential question, different concepts, and some key vocabulary. The unit that will be taught through this course is all about the author's purpose and opinion, and it is for second grade. So let's go back to Getting Started. Also, this is where you can locate the syllabus and policies for this course. The online expectations pop up right as you click, and then here it's actually a document that takes you to the course syllabus. So if I give that a click, it'll come up and show us what the syllabus looks like. The syllabus that I created includes what we are doing, also what is expected of the students through the online course, and a few other bits of information that is important for them to know, such as the summary of what we're doing, standards, assessments. We have some schedules of what we're going to do, as well as the questions that are relevant to that. As we continue, it talks about the school policies, homework, and different things of that nature. And here are some resources for that. So let's go ahead back some more. And like I said, these are the online expectations for students. So they can read that and see what I'm looking for as they work their way through the course. The first thing that we're going to find is a pretest. So when they click the pretest, it's going to bring them to this screen where each of these items is a little bit of a text, and the questions vary from identify the author's purpose by selecting a multiple choice answer. And then as you go through and get a little bit further down, it asks the same question, what is the author's purpose? But then it goes into how do you know? So that's where it's going to turn into a short answer essay. So students are expected to go ahead and do that before beginning the course, so I can kind of see where they are at that time. Next, you're going to find the introductions folder. Here, students have the directions of what they should do to introduce themselves. Click here to begin. That's going to be a link to the website that they are expected to go to. And here is a media folder where they can insert their photographs once it's created. And if I click mine, it will pop up, look like this. And this is kind of what I expect from the students as they work their way through this. So let's go all the way back to the main screen. We worked our way through the Getting Started folder, so now we're going to go to the first concept, which talks about the author's purpose. Each time you click a new folder, the lesson essential question pops up, as well as any potential vocabulary that could be helpful in this section. So the author's purpose is the first one. And as we work our way through, it explains what the author's purpose is by using PIE or PIE. So there's a video there. I'll just click that for a second so you can see. Just skip ahead. So it'll work its way through explaining what the author's purpose is using PIE. There's a chart that goes ahead and explains what pi is as well. It's as easy as pi. And now below is an example that I created, and it's an example of a text and what the author's purpose is, and it's to entertain because they're telling a story. For example, in the text it says, And that's a way for them to get prepared for their assignment, because their assignment is very similar to the example I just showed. So why did the author write this story and how do you know? So this little bit of information is included, and students are to comment what they think, so what the purpose was and how they know. So they need to make sure they include their information. So let's go back to the beginning. We're down here, and here's a discussion board for author's purpose. And the question is, which purpose for writing is your favorite to read, to persuade, to inform, to entertain? So I expect students to kind of comment on that and explain to other students what they enjoy reading. Do they enjoy reading something that's giving an opinion, trying to get you to do something? Is it to give you information about a topic, or to entertain you, kind of give you a narrative? So that's kind of a way to introduce them to this topic, as well as get them talking with each other and get their feel for which they like the best. And then the very last thing included is just a game that they can play. So if you click the link, it'll bring you straight to the page where they can play their game. And it is an online game, so they'll need some sort of device. You can play with, a tablet or other iPad handheld device or a computer. So I'm going to X out of that. Okay, so we're back to this screen. And now I'm going to go back to the main screen once again. Now we are on to details to support opinion. Oops, I skipped this one. Let's go back. Author's opinion. Sorry about that. So here's author's opinion. Like I said, there's always going to be an LEQ and vocabulary at the top. So we're going to walk through what is an opinion, what is a fact. This is something that's very relevant to this discussion. Examples below. There's a little video giving an introduction of the author's opinion. If we keep going a little bit more, again, I included an example for what is expected. You read the text and then be able to find keywords that tell the author's opinion. So for example, in this particular story, The Best Candy, the words favorite, love, best, and wonderful were included. So that told me that the author's opinion of this was that this Reese's was the best candy. The next discussion board relates to that because it says, what are some keywords authors might use to tell their opinion in a story? So they can use, positive or negative words just to describe the opinion of an author. And this video up here, like I said, kind of talks about the author's opinion, but it also gives examples of positive and negative feelings, as well as kind of in the middle. And the very last thing they have is an author's opinion quiz. So this quiz has 3 different texts, and the questions are all the same. So there's 3 here, 3 questions, 3 texts, but they're all the same because it says what's the author's opinion of that particular text, how do you know, and to give examples. So that's 3 chances they get to practice that. So let's go back to the main screen. And now we're going to move on to the next, to details to support opinion. We have our lesson essential question at the top, some vocabulary words here. An author's opinion screencast that I uploaded before is here describing what an opinion versus a fact is. Below shows an example giving how does the author feel about this book. So I went ahead and found this text and then gave the opinion using examples here. And below are 2 separate assignments. One's a little bit more complicated than the other one, so it gives them a challenge, but the first one is a bit easier. So I'm going to click that. So it is an assignment where they have to read the text and then answer the question. How does the author feel about watching birds? What keywords told you the author's opinion? So that's the first assignment. And then the second one is where students have to read the book review that is given here. And then after they're done reading, they will click the link, which then will pop up on a different screen. as a graphic organizer through Google Docs. So they need to tell me the author's opinion in one section and then tell me the details that support this opinion in the next section. And this will be assigned individually, so they can each have their own place to put their responses. So let's go back to the beginning screen once again. And we are moving right along to main ideas and details. We have our question at the top, and the focus is really on graphic organizer, so I did include that throughout this section. I included 2 different videos this time. So the first is an explanation of what a main idea is, but then below is a main idea song. And I like this song, and I've actually used it in my classroom before because students really relate to this and it'll get stuck in their heads and they'll actually start to remember what a main idea is. So here's an example of a little mini text talking about a cat, Lexi's cat, and a graphic organizer that I went ahead and filled out to show how to fill it out and what is relevant to place on that organizer. We have another discussion board here where students are going to write a story using the following main idea. So Timmy went bowling for his birthday is the main idea. And then students have to go back and write the story, but have to include at least 3 details to support the main idea. So 3 details that support that Timmy went bowling. That's the discussion board for this section. Partner work. So we're going to click here for partner work. So this is the collaboration activity. So as you can see, there's a rubric for students to view before they go ahead and get started with their partner. They have to click here to get started. And once everything is loaded, it walks through exactly what is expected. There's going to be 2 partners. I separate them between zebra and cheetahs. So it walks through and it says the steps. So step 1 is to look at the organizer, and then we're going to walk through and see that step 2 is going to be to kind of organize your thoughts. So students need to use the organizer. So we have main idea and 3 details to start writing sentences. So they are actually going to write the story for the organizer that was given. And it's labeled which student should be doing which sentence. And then they take everything and put it all together to create a final story for that organizer that I included. So that is their group assignment. The last section is another game, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a click, and it'll bring up just another game to help them practice the main idea. And I like at the top how it kind of outlines the skill, and then it says what to do, so at least they know what is expected. So if we are back to our main screen, you'll see that that was actually all of the lessons included. There's a discussion board where students can come and ask questions and kind of have a community through that. Then there's the final test. So the final test is pretty much exactly what was discussed earlier, and each question is different. So I made sure to include true, false. Here is some multiple choice. Same text here, but this is a short answer. There is a video they have to watch and then answer a question about the author's opinion. Here is another true, false, a fill in the blank that they need to answer, and also just a example of what to expect for the main idea. So what detail could they use to support this main idea? So let me go ahead and go back to the very beginning once again. Alright, so resources. Resources are the resources that students can use. So we have reading resources and writing resources, and these are all links so they can go ahead and just give it a click when they're ready. Under resources, you will find some troubleshooting for Schoology. So all of these are also clickable. They don't even have to go into the page unless they choose to. So this is clickable, and this. And finally, we have the references that I used to create this unit. So I hope that this unit is beneficial to everybody involved. Thanks for watching.